Another note, too, the JR Motorsports press conference that was scheduled for noon is actually going to start pretty soon, right after Kevin Harvick is completed up here. So JR Motorsports will go then. Okay, joining us now is our points leader, Kevin Harvick. He drives the number 29 Shell Pennzoil Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing. And coming off the win at Michigan, you had a big announcement this week, Kevin. Talk about how things are going for the 29 team right now.
Well, I mean, it's just, it's hard to even take it all in, to be honest with you, just for the fact, we all know where we were a year ago at this point. So it's a lot of fun for us to enjoy it. We all respect it a tremendous amount just for the fact that you know how it can turn away from you in a heartbeat. So everybody's relaxed, and I think these next 3 races are going to be fun for us. We're going to be, obviously racing hard, but I think, there's no pressure on the outcome other than the bonus points, and, that would be nice, but it's not like it's the end of the world for us like it would be if something goes wrong in the last 10 weeks. So we're going to have fun with it, and it's kind of a reward for everybody, and I think it's a good time to, get mentally prepared and relaxed for the last 10 races.
Okay, let's take some questions. We'll start here with Tom, and then we'll go to Joe.
Hi, Kevin. Tom Jensen, Speed.com. Half of the guys in the top 12 in points haven't won a race this year. At the end of the year, whether you're champion or whoever's champion, does it matter whether anybody's won a race or not? And how likely is it, do you think, that somebody could win a title without winning it?
Well, I think all the circumstances would have to really go your way, but it's definitely possible. I hear a lot about winning. And if you look back at our sport, I don't think our sport was. I mean, it's built on being successful, but it's not necessarily built on having to win every week. And I think it's not like baseball or football, where you have a winner. You have a winner every week, but you have 42 losers. And there's always circumstances. It's a team sport, so it's you have the guys fixing the car after an accident. You have the guys in the engine shop that have parts failures. You have a lot of things that go on that are a part of the sport that don't need to be taken out of the sport. It can't solely be based on just winning races. So I think it's definitely possible. If you finish in the top 5 every week, you're gonna win the championship. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. And over the last 10 weeks, it's still 10 weeks. So there's still 26 other weeks that you did something right.
Let's go Joe, Kenny, and then Jeff.
Joe Manzer, NASCAR.com. Kevin, picking up on that theme a little bit, in 08, you finished 4th in points but didn't win a race. Did you feel, looking back on that, did you feel like you had a legitimate shot at the championship, or did you feel like you had to win at some point to catch the other guys?
Well, it's hard to say what I thought that year. I have a hard time remembering what I did yesterday. But, I think I would say that we raced hard that year, but I don't necessarily know, unless everything would have went perfect, that we'd have had a shot at winning the championship that year, because in the end, you're gonna have to contend for some wins over the last 10 weeks. You're gonna have to have speed in your car, and to do that, if you have speed in your car, you're gonna have chances to win some races. So you could win if you don't win a race, but it's going to be a lot easier to win winning races. And I think you're going to have to win 1 or 2 races in the chase to really beat the guy who wins the championship, based upon everything that's happened over the past several years.
Okay, Kenny and Jeff.
Kenny Bruce, SingDaily.com. Kevin, given where you guys were last year and what you've done, now everybody is saying 29 team is going to be the team to beat going in there. I mean, we've heard that several weeks now, and everybody's talking about it. Are the struggles that you guys went through, is that going to allow your team to stay focused on what you all have to do and not start reading the stories and believing everything that's been written?
Yeah, I still think that the 48 team is the team to beat. I just, no matter how good somebody runs, I still think those guys are the ones to beat, just for the fact that they've won it the last 4 years of being in a somewhat similar situation. So I'd like to just leave it all right over there and let us keep doing what we're doing. You know, I think obviously we've won well and we feel like we can contend for a championship, but contending and winning are two different things. And I think you know, we've shown that we can win races and we've shown that we could run good, but I still think until somebody completes the deal and knocks them off, I think they have to be the ones. I think they have to be, you know, the ones that you have to beat just because they've done it 4 times.
Go ahead, Jeff, right over here.
Jeff Hood of RacingToday.com. Kevin, NASCAR had a town hall meeting with the nationwide team owners earlier this week. As a Nationwide Series team owner, good, bad, or indifferent, what are your thoughts on what came out of that town hall gathering?
I didn't attend. I did not attend the meeting, so I had prior obligations. We had representatives at the meeting, but I have not been brought up to speed on what came out of that meeting.
Other questions for Kevin? Matt has one right here.
Kevin, a lot of people are talking about your win at Michigan as being sort of a different win. It's not at a plate track. It's at a track that you're going to have to run on in the chase. Can you talk about that as a confidence builder and what it says about the state of your team?
Yeah, I think just to kind of get that out of the way so that you know, we could know for ourselves that we could close the deal. We've been very close this year. California was one that, you know, I kind of bumped the wall there with a few laps to go and kind of ruined that one. But we've run really well, and I feel like the mile-and-a-half stuff has really been our strong point this year, where, as before, I'd say the short track stuff was, but we've run, aside from Chicago, we've run well at every racetrack that's been a mile-and-a-half or longer in length. So I'm looking forward to the mile-and-a-half stuff. I'm glad we got Michigan out of the way with the win, just because that racetrack in particular has been tough for us over the years, and to go run like we did last week makes everybody know that we can run well on pretty much any racetrack. So I still feel like that we've run better on mile-and-a-halfs this year than we have any other year, and they've really been our strong point this year, I think.
Jay?
Jay Pennell with front stretch and all left turns. We saw Elliott Sadler get the win, obviously, in the truck up at Pocono, second on the board right now. Could you talk about his performance in your equipment? You know, is that something that we're going to see more going into next year?
Elliott's done a great job. You know, I think in the right stuff, you know, he can be competitive at whatever level is in. You just don't win all the races that he won in Cup, and just forget how to drive. And you know, you're really, at some point, you're only as good as what you drive. And you know, I don't know all the ins and outs of that particular situation. But every time he's been in our 2 truck, you know, he's in a nationwide car today. He's in the top 5, you know, and competitive every week. So we're happy to have him in there, because it takes some pressure off of me, because the sponsors are happy because they run competitively and race for wins. And you know, he's done a great job. He's easy to get along with, and really enjoys driving the stuff. So we really enjoy the relationship that we've had with Elliott so far, and look to continue that going forward.
Dustin?
Dustin Long, Landmark Newspapers. Kevin, can you talk about how much you see drivers change from outside the car to inside the car, and is it any bigger of a change at a place like here, or is it not as big because now you don't have to root and gouge people out of the way?
Yeah, I think it's the style of racing has changed a little bit here, just for the fact that you know, there's a lot more room to race. You can race from the bottom to the top of the racetrack, and you know, as far as, you know, I think what you're asking is how the drivers change from inside the car to outside the car here. It's, you know, you become a lot more wound up about things in a short amount of time, because the quarters are so tight, and you know, you wind up with some bent fenders and hurt feelings, and things tend to happen pretty fast here, and those things are going to happen. So Bristol's just a tough place on you, not only physically and on your car, but mentally it can drive you crazy.
Also, the last time you were here, last time you were here, you made comments as far as the car, in the months since
then, I think, you know, sometimes people just, you know, they don't see eye to eye on things. I enjoy racing on the racetrack with Carl, and that's really all that matters. It doesn't matter if he likes me or I like him. I think we both race each other hard, and off the racetrack doesn't really matter as long as on the racetrack it's I think we both race hard and enjoy racing with each other.
Anything else for Kevin Harvick? Kevin, thanks so much, and
Yep.
good luck this weekend.
Thanks.